we don't want to necessarily know all your secrets because of course you've got to kind of, keep those close to the vest, but what do you attribute your success to?
I'm going to tell you the biggest secret. I'm going to let it out of the bag because in all reality, most
We get the
people won't.
exclusive here.
Exclusive.
You heard it
And
here
you know why I'm
first.
not worried about it? Because most people won't do it. So it doesn't matter.
Welcome, everyone. We are here for another episode of The Story of You, and our special guest today is Michelle Rhea. She is a realtor at Keller Williams Advantage Realty, and she is on the Giant Group team. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. So, Michelle, why don't we start out by you just kind of giving us a snapshot into kind of what your day-to-day life is like now, in your current position as a realtor.
Oh gosh. Well, I like to say that, there's a norm, but there's not. There's one thing that's changing or constant in real estate is it's always changing. So when I first started, I was doing open houses all the time. And then I went through about 2 years where I wasn't. I'm getting back into them now because now people are going out and doing things again. So weekends, I try to do open houses. On the weekends, I do open houses. I try to do anywhere from 3 to 5 of them over the course of the weekend. And I do that about every other weekend. And then throughout the week, it's managing any contracts that I currently have open, getting any of my buyers or sellers through their contract process and going out and showing buyers homes if they're in the market.
And so your focus is on residential real estate then?
Correct. I don't do commercial at all. My first love is listings. I enjoy that process. But I also work with buyers as well, just the same.
And what is the territory that you specialize in?
Well, it's funny because people say I live in Orlando, and Orlando can be an hour and a half away from each other. So I live in the Winter Park area. My office is in the Oviedo area, and I grew up in St. Cloud. So I pretty much will go anywhere in that circle radius. So I run an area of an hour and a half to 2 hours across. I've gone as far as Daytona. I've gone as south as St. Cloud and been way over in Davenport. And of course, all the local areas in between: Winter Park, Oviedo, Lake Mary, Deltona, DeLand. But yeah, I pretty much run the Orlando circuit in its completion.
So you are on the road a lot, it sounds.
Yeah, I have a very comfortable car.
So let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got to the place that you are today. Let's go all the way back to high school. Who was Michelle Rhea in high school?
She was not cool. I was very quiet.
What?
I was. It's very quiet. Not nerdy like in a book smart way, but just like not cool in general.
Where'd you go to high school?
St. Cloud High School.
Okay.
I had my 5 really good friends that loved me for me, and we had a blast. But I wasn't super popular. My brothers were. I was always Scott's sister or Kevin's sister. I was never like myself. I kind of flew under the radar. So I don't know. I didn't really do a whole lot. I did sports, but I was mediocre at all of them. I just enjoyed the process of going and doing the sport. I didn't care about winning, which, I don't know that wanting to win would have changed much. I wasn't super athletic. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I was pretty simple.
So you clearly now have a very strong sense of yourself and a very strong confidence level. So what happened between high school and now that really helped you gain that confidence and grow into your own?
uh Having kids, and being married, going through divorce, getting married again, um navigating life in general. I went to college twice in the course of those career changes. So I've kind of found that when I get to something in life that I'm not comfortable with or want to improve on, I just kind of handle it and then decide, is this the thing I want to keep doing or not? And that allowing myself to give myself that independence and permission to just grow and be as a person, I think has overall changed my confidence in myself and what I know in myself that I can do.
That's an awesome story. So you mentioned you went to college twice, and when you were going through that, were you envisioning yourself becoming a realtor?
No, I started out in the healthcare field. I'm an occupational therapist by trade, so that was my first go around. I was a treating therapist for a while, and then I decided I didn't necessarily want to do that forever. So I went back and got my bachelor's in medical administration and worked my way into medical management. And I ran rehab departments for about 8 years, and then changes in the medical field and the bureaucracy of it, and just things that I didn't like seeing and coming down the pike as far as requirements for my staff and stuff. I just decided it wasn't a position I wanted to put myself in, and decided I needed a change. And so I went and got my real estate license.
So that's quite the change. I mean, I assume that in the medical field, you were accustomed to a salaried position, a steady paycheck, and then all of a sudden biting the bullet, going out on your own and being, reliant on your own production to pay the bills. I mean, how did you make that transition?
Um, a healthy mixture of fear and prayer. Because I came home and I was like, if I do this, if I walk out on this job, I'm not getting it back. The position that I had is not prevalent. There's not very many. I mean, I was driving to Daytona every day from Winter Park to have the job that I had. Now, granted, it was a lucrative job, but it was also 10 hours of my day and time away from my family. But it was definitely more stable. But and I wouldn't say that it was harder or easier. It was just different. Certainly not. The consistent level of stress was much higher in the medical field. Here, it's like feast or famine. Like everything's wonderful, everything's fine. Oh my gosh, the world's going to end. This deal's going to fall apart, and like it's ups and downs. But consistent stress was definitely worse in the medical field. But going from salary to make it happen or don't pay your bills was definitely scary. And thankfully I had a lot of support from my family and just kind of helping me through it. And we did a lot of really quick saving right before I left. So we have some money to get through the first several months, because you don't get paid right away. No one's paying you. So yeah, it was a tough transition, and it's definitely motivation to keep going and do what I need to do to get the work done.
That's a great story. And I think that would probably encourage other people as well who are, considering making that transition. And sometimes I found that just doing it is what you have to do. I mean, there's no easy way to transition into it. Sometimes it's like you just got to take the leap and then do the work to survive.
Yeah, I tell people that if you're going to go into real estate, you need to look at your first 6 months, 6 to 8 months of being in real estate as if you quit your job to go to school. So how are you going to survive? How can you live on peanut butter and jelly and skinny down and sell everything you own, do whatever you have to? How are you going to survive for that time frame while you're in school? Because you don't get paid until you have a sale. So and as much as people like to say, oh, I've got a friend and I've got an uncle and I've got a so-and-so, they're all going to let me sell their house. when you get your license and you're standing in front of them and the reality comes to some of those people who know you just got your license, you're brand new, they love you, but they don't necessarily trust that you know what you're doing yet, with a very important investment in their life. So you don't always just can't get handed those jobs right out of the gate. So making sure that you've got some kind of plan of provision for that time frame, so that you don't have to go through the kind of the self-irritating behaviors of feeling like you failed at something by having to go back and get a different job. Being prepared for that first time frame, I just say, just pretend like you're in college and you're not going to be able to work full time anywhere, and you're not going to have an income. How are you going to get through that time frame while you're in school? And you work that business every day, all day, for that entire time frame until you start making your money.
Are you someone who enjoys kind of mentoring and teaching newer realtors?
Yeah, I love it. Every time somebody tells me they're going to real estate school, I'm like, okay, you got to watch these videos. Let's have lunch. Let's have a phone call when you're getting ready to do your test. I've talked to several people who have gone through that process, and I love doing what I can to help them.
Yeah. I see that in you, and I identify with that, because I too, when I meet a new lawyer who, or even someone who's going to law school or has an ambition to do that, I love to give them unsolicited advice on what to do and not to do.
Great.
Maybe they find it helpful, maybe not, but I enjoy it. And I don't know that everyone does. So I think that that's an admirable trait in you, that you take your experience and want to help benefit others.
Absolutely.
So, you have to have the most competitive job that exists, right? I mean, I haven't done any research on it, but just if I were to name the people I know as realtors, I don't even have enough fingers. Like there are realtors everywhere. So, and you have an impressive sales history. I mean, I'm constantly seeing your posts on Facebook where you are consistently at Keller Williams in the top tier of performing realtors. So, what can you tell us about, we don't want to necessarily know all your secrets, because of course you've got to kind of, keep those close to the vest, but what do you attribute your success to?
I'm going to tell you the biggest secret. I'm going to let it out of the bag, because in all reality, most people
We get the exclusive here.
Exclusive.
You heard it here
and
first.
Why I'm not worried about it? Because most people won't do it, so it doesn't matter. Relationships. You have to build relationships. I don't like to cold call. It literally makes me physically ill, the idea of cold calling people. I don't ever want to be a high pressure person. I'm not a high pressure salesperson. When we walk into a house and a buyer's like, "Ooh, I don't really like this," I'll watch some people be like, "Oh, but look at this, and but look at this." I'm like, listen, if this is not your house, we're not buying this house. Let's go. There's other houses. I don't like to be high pressure. I like to be a facilitator. And in facilitating and keeping that relationship honest with my folks, it really builds a trust. And on trust, you can have the relationship. And then when you have that relationship, those people will tell other people, and those people will tell other people. So I try to do a lot of social media. I'm not actually a big fan of social media. I do a lot of social media, kind of the same reason why you do billboards, to stay front of mind, in front of people. I find that that's the easiest way that I can stay in front of people, because I know what my strengths are and I know what my weaknesses are. And the way I can build those relationships is saying that nice thing on somebody's post about the cute thing their kid did, or messaging them a happy birthday the day before their birthday, because everyone's going to tell them on their birthday. Building those relationships and putting time and effort into those is what keeps me front of mind with people. So when it does come to that time that they need to do something with real estate, I'm at least one of the first people they've thought of, even if they have an uncle and a brother and a cousin and a neighbor that are all agents.
Yeah. And I see that in you for sure, that you are a very genuine, open book type of person. I mean, even just now we saw an example of it, telling us your biggest secret. I mean, I definitely think that people have a comfort level if they hire you because they know that you're going to tell them the good and the bad and not steer them in the right direction, or sorry, not steer them in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they come to the right one.
Yeah. Not steer them in the wrong direction because you tell them like it is. I mean, and it's not just in your profession, but just in life. You're someone who is open about your opinions and your feelings, and your, in this context, your experience, which is now vast, so you have a lot of experience behind you now that I think also gives clients a trust level in you. So let's talk about where you're headed. If you could have it all your way, where is all of this going?
I would love, the team that I'm with, the Giant Group, is based out of Georgia. And my dear sweet best friend, Jen, who lives up in Georgia, runs the Giant Group up there. And they have, I think, like 5 or 6 agents on the team. And I'm the only one that's down here in Florida. And I would love to be busy enough and have the Giant Group name receiving enough residual business, people coming back, repeat clients, that when I'm done being in this area, because when my kids graduate, I'm probably gonna go try some different scenery. At some point, I would love to be able to say that it's not just Michelle with the Giant Group, that it's the Giant Group, and the Giant Group is still here and moving and active in this area. So building that would be ideal in a perfect world. It's a tough market. It's hard to get there. It's a very hard hurdle to get past, to get to the point where there's multiple people on a team and enough business coming through to warrant that. So, but ideally, if in a perfect world, then that would be it. Having something to leave when I'm not here anymore.
Your legacy, your
Yeah.
real estate legacy.
Yeah.
I like that. So you want to duplicate yourself and build your team.
Yes.
So you said different scenery. What kind of scenery are you interested in?
That scenery.
Is that an actual picture you took?
This is an actual picture.
Wow.
This is up in Tennessee. So our goal is to graduate the kids and then move up to Tennessee.
Do you have any other connections to Tennessee other than the scenery?
Yes, my husband is from there. So it's his hometown, and I've got to live in my hometown for, my whole life. So now we're going to go do something different and have seasons. And, our older kids are up in North Carolina, which is closer up there. So we're just we're ready for a change. So in about 3 or 4 years, we'll be up in Tennessee.
Do you see yourself continuing to pursue your real estate career in Tennessee?
I don't know. I haven't ruled it out. It's too far away. Starting in real estate is really hard, and we're going to be going to a small town. So it just depends on how saturated the market is with agents in a small town. I mean, it's half the size of Oviedo and no big towns around it, maybe like one big town around it. So it's a different kind of a whole different world and feel. I don't know if I'll continue with real estate. I don't know if I have lots of hobbies that I like to do that I've thought about getting into. Kind of makes me sound like an old lady, but like I love quilting. So I thought about, doing quilting and doing woodworking, and like there's stuff that I enjoy that if I could find a way to make money, then I would look at those as options as well. We've talked about buying a business and doing a business up there. I don't know. That chapter is very much in the doodle stages at this point right now. Like we're just writing down little ideas and going, I don't know which one.
The brainstorm.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, I know your husband is a crypto guru.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how is he feeling about the current state of the crypto market?
I mean, nobody likes to see the dips, but we knew they were coming. It's just a matter of when they were coming. So it may be a bear market right now, but we knew that that was something that would happen. So
Mhm.
the timing was not what we expected, but it's not what we expected. So, it's one of those where
Wait it out.
it just means it sits there longer and until
Right.
we pull it out. So like it's just not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna sit in its nice safe place until it comes back up. But no, we definitely still have 100% faith in that whole world. There's too much going on with it for it to have a big issue. But um I the timing's different than we anticipated, but not the outcome.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was so inspiring to hear your success story and how you've gotten to the place that you are. And I look forward to seeing more Tennessee photos in the future. But in the meantime, you'll still be here locally,
Mhm.
and
Oh yeah, not going anywhere
to
yet,
build those relationships.
for sure.
Yeah. So any final thoughts you want to share before we close it out?
Just that the market's always changing. People are always waiting for the market to do one thing or another, the rates to go down, the prices to come down, the buying frenzy to slow, the this to go up or that to go down. People are always waiting for something. It's nearly impossible to time the market. And especially if you're buying and selling, you're going to take a hit somewhere. So it evens itself out anyway. So I would just say if you're looking to buy or sell, the best thing to do is to call me and have a conversation, see what your options are, see where you stand with the current market. You never know which direction things are going to go. The rates may go down, but then so may the value of your house. So you always want to get the information and just see if, regardless of everything else that's happening, does that end result, be it the house you purchase or the net on your sale, does that end point make sense to you? Forget about all the noise and the economy and the numbers and everything. Does the end result make sense to you? And if it does, then it's the right time. So knowing that and having that conversation can sometimes be very enlightening for people to kind of turn down some of the noise and just hear the facts.
Absolutely. Great advice from an experienced real estate guru. Thank you again, Michelle Rhea with Keller Williams Advantage Realty. That's the office in Oviedo, and she's with the Giant Group team. Thank you
so
again,
much.
and have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Brooke.